blue-red Eldrazi, blue-red Phoenixes, blue-red Emerge, blue-red flying stuff. This is one of my favorite decks in the format because this is a deck that I actually wrote a primer for on Cool Stuff Inc. Midway through last month or so. I like this deck because it's a good mix of evasive, resilient threats in these Phoenixes, as well as good utility creatures with Bonecrusher Giant and Brazen Borrower. This deck feels like it's an ideal mix of interaction and also proactive cards. Everything's fine for 100, Ohio. That's just to put my cards on the table. Anything's fine for $100. Just to let you know where I'm coming from. All right. One of the things that I really like about this deck too is that I think Kozilek's return is really well positioned in this format. I think being able, not only is the front half good in dealing 2 damage to a lot of these Land War Elves deck, but the fact that we can trigger the back half of this card, the flavor text, with Elder Deep-Fiend to deal 5 damage to everything, like cleans up even a lot of the mono green stompy boards. I also think the fact that this deck gets to play Lightning Axe is huge. I think this card is one of the reasons why the blue-red Phoenix deck has so much success. Being able to kill larger threats for just a single mana is great. And the fact that we have both Flamewake Phoenix and Kozilek's return to discard to this, so its downside is really an upside in a lot of ways, tends to be great. So let's go ahead and dive on in with this. It's been a hot second since we played this one. Hopefully it's still sweet like last time. I did not ever get a chance to test Ski to the City Pomoyne. The more I thought about it, the more we don't really need the evasion in here. At the very least, this deck is that little bad. It's a lot of fun in my experience. Happy New Year, Bacon. When Jeff's making broad statements about what he's willing to do for any amount of money, I realize he's excluding me. Only a little, only sometimes. This deck's just got a lot of enjoyable play patterns. I personally find decks that have both a lot of proactive and reactive game patterns a lot of fun to play. I think because I hit my 5th land tier, I'm just going to take it a little bit slow. We'll probably jam Phoenix on 4 and then plan to Royal Scions with Izzet Charm up on 5. So I don't expect this to resolve, but I can't counter all their counters. Now, worst case scenario here is, like, they absorb this and then they, like, veto my Scions. If they have 3 mana Teferi here and they bounce this, that's actually not that big of a deal for us. Cast Out's not a big deal either. Royal Scions are going to be great here because they allow us to loot through cards that would otherwise be dead in this matchup, kind of mitigating that virtual card advantage that control decks frequently have. So I get to loot past these Kozilek's returns that otherwise are just textless here. Royal Scions plus attack is also really sweet with Mutavault because it lets us use Mutavault to trigger Flamewake Phoenix. I think I'd rather have Kozilek's return than Lightning Axe here because sometimes these blue-white decks have an Elspeth in the main and Kozilek's return's front half can sometimes have text because of that. Hey, thanks for the big tip, Ohio. So we'll definitely have one more Pioneer deck today for Teamer Company. That'll be one folks will enjoy. Thanks for the absurd support. Happy New Year, Ohio. They can't deal with the Scions in 2 turns. It's going to let us draw 4 cards, which is great. Click Nice Media. Thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh no, not my Phoenix. We'll never recover. Sideboard might be bad. You can change that to your liking. Sounds good. We'll take a peek at it once we get things loaded up. Huh? I think I'm just gonna loot again here. Bonecrusher is a sweet one. They need a Teferi or a Cast Out or a Detention Sphere to deal with these Royal Scions. They're going to pick me up 4 cards next turn. Which, they do have a lot of ways to interact with these Royal Scions, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't get to ultimate them. I'm going to go ahead and fetch here. Before they tuck this back into my deck. Are there any situations where you tick up past the ultimate to keep it on board? Generally, no. Just because the opponent's archetype has so many ways to take that card out of play that it's very important to, like, get your card advantage while you can get it guaranteed. Now, disallow's not really something worth playing around. I'm going to hold on to that Fabled Passage at this point because my opponent might activate Gaia Reach. I also don't really need an extra land at the moment. I don't know what that means, Naya. I'd like to Spell Piercer Dig Through Time. Next time, delve the extra cards. The answer to will Jeff play X should always be answered by submitting the form on my website. Always, always, always. You've bounced my Phoenix. Sure. They're down to 1 card in hand at the moment. Huh? So, I think with that draw, I bin this Flamewake, and then I crack this fetch, and then we play the Rekindling Phoenix and bring the Flamewake back. Even if they have a Supreme Verdict at this point that doesn't do anything. Next turn we get to bring back another Flamewake Phoenix, and we've still got Mutavault that's attacking as well. Another thing that I need to keep track of here is that my opponent is very close to us on clock, and this is definitely a match that can go long, and the clocks might be relevant. Yeah, all the decks that are in the stream title, I don't update the decks linked in the deck queue with the changes that I make. Hey, glad to hear it, Ohio. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, Historic, I was actually genuinely surprised at the positive feedback around Historic, and I was glad by it, because I've been enjoying playing Historic. I think this card's very good in this format. This card's super, super reasonable. I think flying creatures in this format are great. I think this is one of the many great flying creatures. Again, I'm going to hold on to this land because I could draw Royal Scions, I could draw an Izzet Charm, or they could activate Sanitarium here. Okay, there's an answer to my Mutavault. Okay, their last card, another removal spell. It could very well be, right? I assume it is, otherwise this verdict doesn't do anything. Okay, so they're gambling here. So they're dead if this doesn't find a way to get rid of this egg. Ha! Did you? GG! Alright, so sideboarding in these matchups is super clean. We have a bunch of cards that are very obviously bad, and we have a bunch of cards to bring in that are very obviously good. So, like, getting game one here especially is huge, because our deck definitely gets better post-board than their deck does. So, like, all of these are real bad. All of these are real good. I guess I actually have more good cards than bad cards in this sideboard as constructed at the moment. I guess Glorybringer's not particularly good. It's expensive. And like I'm bringing in Chandra's as other threats. Yeah, it's probably banger out. Yeah, I like that. Past Jeff published a sideboard guide for this deck on Cool Stuff Inc. So if you want to see what Past Jeff thought to do, but pretty sure that's the plan. Hey, Source, thanks for the 19 months. Welcome back. Easy mulligan here. Yeah, but I put a lot of thought into this deck. And like, you can, based on how easy or hard it is to sideboard, you can generally tell how much thought a deck has had put into it, especially against the common archetypes in the format. Like if a deck is very easy to sideboard with against common archetypes, that generally means whoever built it spent a lot of time thinking about that. Or they're very lucky, one of the two. Hey, Cooler, thanks for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hopefully they play a 3-mana Planeswalker. We just get to give them a soft stub next turn. So hopefully they play like a Teferi here. Huh? So because I have this stub, do I want to jam these Royal Scions? The upside to jamming Royal Scions right now is that my opponent does not have Absorb up. I think I'm going to pass here. I don't know. We're definitely going to play Scions this turn. Ooh, that's a Rekindling Phoenix. Rekindling Phoenix plays around Veto, which is nice. And it lets me get Soft Stub online. So yeah, definitely just jamming that to start. And if they field me to fix their mana, that gives me an untapped blue source. It's a little punishing. Now they get to untap and Teferi me. They untap and Teferi me, we're in a bit of trouble here. Cast out was kind of like worst case scenario for the line that I took. Here's hoping they plan to like play a 3-mana spell here. Brazen Borrower is kind of sweet. I think I just do this. Hopefully they absorb me and I get to force spike them. They could have Veto here. All right, absorb is best case scenario. You like my stubby D, opponent? Pretty sure it's Elder Deep-Fiend. Deep-Fiend's a card that's like only good in this matchup, like in the really late game. Like this is a matchup where you like are frequently casting Deep-Fiend for just like the full 8. Izzet Charm probably at a point of diminishing returns. Go. I'll do this while they're tapped out. Just guaranteed resolve my petty theft. Sure. Why does the Borrower in hand make the Izzet Charm better, Justin? Chaos Magic Chuck, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Drop this Borrower at end of turn. Hey, Pervia, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a fun set for sure. Maybe I'm supposed to get another blue there since I have Dig Through Time in my hand. So I'm kind of happy with both the cards in my hand, but if I put one more card in my bin, I can dig this turn. So I think I just do that just to like be able to dig this turn basically. Dr. Mr. P, thanks for the 13 months. Happy New Year to you too. If I wasn't unlocking dig by putting a 6 card in, I think I would definitely just +2 this and start killing them. But like the opportunity to like do this is like huge. I think it's Phoenix plus Deep-Fiend here. Yeah, I think the recursive Phoenix is real good here at this point. It's like a threat that's like good against counterspells. Sure. Modern was so good this morning, I'm canceling playing the last Modern deck in the queue and giving that person a refund. So you could say it went exactly as expected. Is there anything more satisfying than watching blue-white struggle? Not in my opinion. Like, they're currently just, like, getting destroyed by our creature threat. They're also, like, having a bad time versus our Planeswalker. I've got a creature land in play too that, like, also is going to pressure their life total. We've got him in the squeeze here. Even if they had, like, planar cleansing, like, that's not good enough because they have 2 cast outs. Thanks for the 5 months pods. Beverly Hills, that's where we want to be. Just shilling in Beverly Hills. Do 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 do. Beep beep do 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 do. I would like to bounce that one. I would like to cast... Actually, so I can bring back this Flamewake Phoenix out of my bin and then emerge off it during their upkeep and tap all their lands. That sounds great. Oh, wait, I just gave them a cast out back, right? Maybe emerging doesn't make sense because I just gave them a cast out back. Because, like, they'll just cast out off the mana. If they go to cast out, I can emerge off it in response. It's a good thought. I think I just get set up here to, like, end step Borrower. Oh, did I have lethal? I might have had lethal. I think you're right that I missed lethal. Okay, so now I need to play around Settle the Wreckage, right? If we don't get settled here, they should die. So we EDF here to make sure they don't settle us. This takes them off of Settle, Blessed Alliance, and others. And I have enough mana to animate Fumarole and bring back Flamewake Phoenix from the bin. So they can cast something out here off these lands, but then they're still just dead. EDF is my favorite Giga Drowse, mine too. I don't know if this deck is good, chat, but it's definitely great. This deck is some of the most fun I've had playing in Pioneer. Just like the lines that it puts together are just like so much more neat than most other decks in the format. It's very satisfying to play well. Very, very satisfying. Plus, it often gets to run circles around blue-white control, which I know you all want to do that. Lot of sequencing decisions there. I think I missed lethal the turn before, but outside of missing lethal, I was happy with most of my plays that game. That's all I want to do is run circles around blue-white, yep. The curve of this deck isn't very good looking until you take these and drag them down to the 2 slot. It's a little chunky if you think of the adventure creatures as 3-drops. That's true. If we hadn't missed lethal, we wouldn't have gotten to play EDF. It's good. Good thought. Accurate thought. Win and die rolls. It's a good way to start the year. Easy mulligan. Less good way to start. Yeah, this hand's fine. We'll bottom an EDF here. We have 3 lands, 3 spells. Two and a half gigs of RAM. Probably want to restart Moto after this one, huh? Yeah, I don't have a problem with control decks in general. I have a problem with decks who don't actually have a plan to win the game other than eventually. That's what I generally take grievance with. Modern was so phenomenal this morning, O'Hare. I told the last person who has a Modern deck in the queue that I'm not playing it, and they can have a refund or they can change their deck to a different format. Hey, Woolmaster, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Match 2, game 1. Definitely not low. Thanks for the 7th month. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, the new White Saga is very good in control decks. Very, very good. Yeah, if we get to curve into Rekindling Phoenix, K-Return's gonna be great. Yeah, the new White Saga curves into bouncing it with Teferi is real gross. Just gonna cast this now so I don't get spell quellered, because it's important that this get into my bin so I can trigger it later. I'm just trading 1 for 1 here. Tempo negative trade, but important to get this into the discard pile, I think. Yeah, it's very similar to Wall of Omens. Wall of Omens plus even. It's like a Wall of Omens that always draws you a land onto. Yeah, I think it'll be better than Wall of Omens in a lot of applications. I agree with that. Looking for lands here. Next 2 to 3 turns. Sick. Not jamming Brazen Borrower here. Not jamming Phoenix here. No reason to play into a Spell Queller. Name of the card? No idea. It's the new 2-mana White Saga. I'm gonna cast Brazen Borrower here, just so I have something in play to emerge off of later. This part where we just sit here and stare awkwardly at each other. There's a Nebelgast Herald. Let's get this one out of here, I think. So we're kind of baiting them into giving us more things to kill with this Kozilek's return, which is great. Okay, I think I just do this. Do I just upkeep this and just, like, tap them off their lands? I think that's the plan. So, Kozilek's return, when you cast an Eldrazi spell with converted mana cost 7 or greater, you can exile it and deal 5 damage to everything, all creatures, which then lets me recast this. And I think I'd rather just have a 4/3 in play than unstomp them. So when you recast an adventure card from Spell Queller, you can cast either half. So I'll have just like 9 power in play here to their nothing. I don't like, we're gonna get to untap and slam this Rekindling Phoenix, which we can then emerge another Deep-Fiend off of. It's a above average turn. Rekindling Phoenix is also incredibly good in this matchup, just because it blocks well. Hard to kill, blocks well. This is the part where we pivot from, like, keeping the board in check to, like, killing them very, very quickly. Deep friend, best friend, yep. That doesn't matter, Dr. Smiles, because they just get to float mana with the lands that we're tapping. So the ordering is actually irrelevant. What do I think of Izzet Charm out here? The Spell Pierce mode isn't super relevant. I feel like I want to bring in Magma Spray because it's more resource efficient, and then Mystic Dispute. Just for these. That seems relatively clean. Thanks for the 11 months, Charles. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I could also see leaving 2 Izzet Charm in and trimming 2 Royal Scion, just because we're frequently going to have a hard time defending our Planeswalkers in this matchup. That's probably the line. Just cut 2 and 2 for these 4. I think Chandra's exceptionally bad in this matchup because 4 mana spells are really bad against Spell Queller because they're maximum tempo loss against Spell Queller. And again, we have a hard time defending our Planeswalkers in this matchup. Having Planeswalkers in a matchup like this means we have a harder time using our life total as a resource, which is something that we're interested in doing. If you haven't seen this deck before and you think it's sweet, this is one of the many decks you are missing out on by not checking out my website, jeffhoagland.com or magicesports.net. Click Pioneer Decks at the top. There's a ton of sweet decks up there with descriptions of how the decks work, my current iteration of that deck list that I prefer to play, and then videos of me playing that deck in the past. Lotus Field. It's very possible that I might want to adjust the sideboard to have some Damping Spheres in it. It's very possible that some Damping Spheres or some Alpine Moons should be in my sideboard. Yeah, I'm gonna make a note of that after this. Throw Damping Sphere. Actually, I'm not gonna make a note of that. I'm gonna wait till the 6th. I think there's a chance that the Lotus Field deck eats it on the 6th, so Lotus Field and Green Ramp are things that could very well be on the chopping block, I think. Go ahead and just pass back here. Yeah, maybe blue-white. I don't know. It's possible that Ramp pushed blue-white out of the format. I ended up siding out 2 Scions instead of 2 of the Charms. I mean, I'd have banned blue-white before it was good, just because the type of gameplay that deck generates is awful. I mean, the Lotus Field deck, in my opinion, is more offensive than Storm ever was. The types of gameplay that the Storm deck generates, and the key, it's not even just the types of gameplay, the number of axes of interaction you have with the Lotus Field deck are so low. Traditional Storm, you have to kill, you can kill their creatures, you can interact with the graveyard, you can interact with their hand, you can counter their spells. And like, the Lotus Field deck, just like, the number of ways you have to interact with it is just so few. Huh? Yeah, I think we're playing defense Flamewake here. So this card has to attack, but if you play it during your second maze, it can't attack for the turn, so it gets to block for a turn. That's real good. Hey, Dordushi, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Welcome. I hadn't heard that too much, dog, and even if that's true, I don't really have any interest in doing that, no. Content in temporary formats like that tends to not be popular in my experience. Making content makes it not worthwhile content to make most of the time. Mausoleum Wanderer has 2 power, so I can't K-return them. I think trying to predict what Wizard of the Coast is going to ban is an exercise that most often leads to frustration. If I axe the Wanderer, the K-return doesn't kill the Eagle. You should have blocked Wanderer so you could K-return. Take a 10-minute break for not understanding how much power this had last turn. I blocked the thing I could kill. This was a 3-3. Thanks for the 6 months, Graciel. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It might just be Lightning Axe this, K-return, trade for this. I think is the plan here. This will be a counter unless I pay 1, but I need to take that off the table just as dealing a lot of damage. And then, like, I think we just, like, hope their leftovers aren't good here, and these Phoenixes can take over the game. So, need to get a little bit fortunate here, but not out of this game just yet. We're going to 5 on this attack. We're going to 4 when I play the Phoenix next turn. Curious Obsession. It's an interesting card to leave in against how much interaction my deck has. Vomit. Alright, second K return, please. I like K return or bust here. Tough game to win on the draw, especially with our land dealing damage to us. I guess that falls into the solidly not dead yet category. Dead to a lot of things, but not dead on board. Kind of surprised, honestly, that they didn't put both their obsessions on the same creature. Kind of punished for ditching the Borrower instead of these, but like I can't know Curious Obsession is coming. Yeah, we get to take game 3 on the play if we lose this, so it's like whatever. If their hand is all bricks and we draw an untapped red source that doesn't hurt us, we could potentially be in a good spot. But again, lot has to break right here for us. Definitely super far behind at the moment. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. I'm gonna run it back. Maybe I want more Izzet Charms. They're gonna leave Curious Obsession in against me. I don't really know what I want to cut though. I think I'm happy with what we did. Maybe I trim an EDF. I guess having EDF to trigger flashback on this is pretty important though. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it back how it is. Only one Shivan Reef in our deck for that reason. Can often cost you games against the more aggressive decks. Hey, thanks for the 13 months, Chalky. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You're having a wonderful start to your 2020. I think fighting on the stack is fine in this matchup. I think Mystical Dispute is really efficient, and being able to trade up on mana is very important for us in order to buy tempo. Yeah, if we have better Flame Sweep, we have Flame Sweep ++. Opponent. It's really funny because when I ask what you play, yes, it's awkward. Like some people are like, well, why do you call this blue-red Eldrazi? Because there's only 4 Eldrazi, and it's like, well, I could call it blue-red Phoenix, but there's another deck that's blue and red that only plays 4 Phoenix that gets that title. So like, nobody gives the blue-red Phoenix deck crap for only playing 4 Phoenixes and being called that. No, a traditional counterspell does not impact the flashback part of K-Return. It's just a trigger that goes in the stack. You need to have something like a Stifle or a Trick Bind to interact with it, or a Disallow. Thanks for the 2 months, Brutal. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Opponent mulligan to 5. Sick. Summary Dismissal is legal in this format. Sure. Nobody wants to play a 4-mana counterspell, though. One of those cards where it's like technically legal, but just like functionally it's not. You are. I got fiends in deep places. That's true. We have Mutavaults. We're playing 12 Phoenixes. Good catch. I think I'm just passing here. This allows probably close to playable. I don't know. Absorb's pretty good. It's very possible I'm just supposed to jam and get aggressive here. Just supposed to, like, try and take advantage of them mulliganing low. I'm hitting land drops, though, so it's hard to be too upset. I think I just let this happen. I think I'm just gonna K-return this Rattle Chains. Just keep my life total high and take my 1-for-1. We'll get extra value off the K-return in the future. And, like, if they Spell Queller the K-return, we, like, Axe, kill the Spell Queller, ditch the Flamewake, and then recast the K-return. And then Bonecrusher next turn and start killing them with Phoenix. Keeping Rattle Chains out of play also makes their sequencing a little bit more rigid because this gives their other spirits flash, so if that one's not in play, they have some sorcery speed threats in their deck. Spell Pierce, sure. I think that's fine. I think I want to do this now while I can't get blown out. Next turn we can play Bonecrusher and then bring back the Phoenix. All while having Dispute up. He's gonna go ahead and burn this now. They have 2 cards left in their hand, but I don't want this card to draw dead like it's going to in a few turns. Yeah, when you Spell Queller an Adventure, when you kill the Spell Queller, you can recast either half of the Adventurer. That's exactly correct. So they have 2 cards left, but I've got Bonecrusher and Phoenix and then, like, 2 creature lands here. So, like, even if I brick a little bit and, like, draw an untapped land next turn, I can fire up both creature lands and attack. So, like, we're in a position to close out this game relatively quickly. Rattle my chains, daddy. Yep, it's a little scary. At a pretty high life total, though. Yep. You should read the pinned comment on that YouTube video, Chalky. Thanks for the very generous tier 3 resub, Ryan. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Happy New Year to you and yours. If they have a spell queller or something to flash in here, we could be in trouble a little bit, but definitely just have to race. Can't block. Please don't settle my wreckage. So they get to eat my Mutavault. Then they take 10 down to 8. We'll see how good their draws are next turn. Well, the past year seems far behind. This new era has much to find. Theros and Ikiora and far more. So here's to memes, dreams, and good hands and streams. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate the 4 months, Lark. Perfect. This is a pretty good draw. What's our best draw? Eldrazi Deep-Fiend? Deep-Fiend would be pretty good. How about a Fabled Passage? Is that one good? See if they're capable of drawing a brick. We get to trade Spell Queller for one of my 4-power things. Their Eagle gets to eat my Phoenix. Magic sucks. Oh. Our Curious Obsessions were very good both of the games. Just had no help coming. Yep, this is how Magic goes, right? Ephro had a really good tweet last night. It was like, see people setting a lot of goals for 2020, and like even my Twitter feeds had a lot of people like setting like I want to do X and X event type. I want to do well in this type of Magic tournament, and like setting goals like that in a game that just like has as much variance as Magic has is a recipe to like put yourself in a really bad mental state and like make yourself feel like you failed at something that was just wildly outside of your control. At the end of the day, especially one of the things that I think doesn't get talked about enough in Magic is because, especially in high-level Magic, when you have 2 players that are similar skill levels playing against each other, those games are mostly decided by variance, right? Like if 2 players who aren't making play mistakes are going head-to-head, the only thing that can decide the outcome of a game like that is who got luckier. That's just how this works. Often when a player is able to leverage play skill, it's because someone was bad. And like when higher level events go on, there's more and more variance built in because neither player is going to get a win most often because the other person was bad. The Soul Flayer matchup is probably pretty close to unwinnable for this deck. Although that's a good draw. We don't have a way to interact with the hexproof monster. I guess they could just discard 2 creatures here and save this, but I definitely need to make them do that. Yeah, we have a hard time interacting with this as well. So their deck, for people not familiar, are looking to dump monsters with lots of keywords like Chromanticore and Zatulpa into the discard pile. And then they play Soul Flare and delve them away and get a big scary monster. What if Magic was chess instead? I mean, that's not ideal. Like, and again, something that I think a lot of people who like to overreact say, like, when you talk about things like that, like the amount of variance in Magic, that's not a criticism, right? Like, a lot of people, they can't separate that from reality, right? Like, people are like, when you talk about a reality that's not always ideal, people often take that to mean like you're ragging on the thing that you're talking about. And it's like, no, I can love Magic and enjoy Magic while also just like understanding that like this is how it works and this is the realistic attitude to have about it. Like, saying Magic's got a buck ton of variance in it and a lot of times there's nothing you can do, that's not saying Magic's a bad game. I love Magic, it's one of my favorite games I've ever played, right? Like, that doesn't change what I just said from being true, though. K return's pretty bad here. Aether Gust is probably fine. This might be an okay Stubborn Denial matchup, just like soft stubbing. Their few early plays could be okay. Yeah, the comparisons to gambling for Magic are very apt, in my opinion. Gambling frequently, especially games like card games and gambling, have some skill-based elements to them, but the results are largely outside of your control. This hand's just not good enough. This is definitely a matchup where we need to be proactive, so I'm most interested in keeping hands where I'm able to run my opponent down. Brazen Borrower is also pretty good here, because in the event my opponent puts a Soul Flare into play that doesn't have hexproof, we can just send it back to their hand. Yes, gambling is frequently exciting. Big agree. Magic's a nice type of gambling because Magic's a gambling that generally has a ceiling on the amount of things you can lose. Like, I played a lot of poker during undergrad too, in addition to playing a lot of Magic, and it's nice to like go to a Magic tournament weekend and like know that like my costs for the weekend are this entry fee plus travel costs. Like, it's not like when you sit down at a cash poker table and you're like, okay, I could spend, $2 or $3 grand here if I have a bad run for the day. All right. Think I just play a 4-3 here. So you're saying we should bring back anti-cards? Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. Okay, they missed a land. This could be a game where we perhaps pressure them out. Again, we don't have, and this is where role assessment's very important in a deck like this. We need to be able to identify whether or not our deck in a given matchup has the tools to be a control deck in that matchup. And this is one of the many matchups in this format where we do not have the tools good enough to be a control deck. So we are the beat down. So we need to just like pressure our opponent out of the game before they can get their plan going. No, Holy Flab. Basically, the TLDR on doing anything other than deck queue stuff is there's a real opportunity cost, right? Like, I know for a fact that playing things out of my deck queue is popular and pays my bills. So anything that I'm doing that's not deck queue stuff has to have potential to be more popular and, or more specifically, generate more income than that. If that makes sense. And like, if you look at even on a week like this, where like I'm literally streaming all week, like almost as many hours as humanly possible, my deck queue still has an absurd number of things in it. Okay, and we're dead. So they discarded a hexproof thing here, so my Brazen Borrowers can no longer bounce the Soul Flare, so I'm gonna go ahead and concede. There. Soul Flare's gonna have a bunch of keywords, we're gonna die next turn. If they did not have a Sylvan Caryatid to pair with their Soul Flare, we would have been okay there, but they did, so we're dead. I don't even know what that means, Frenzied Mage. Marbles games with giveaway. Giveaways are tedious. I don't want people watching my stuff because they're hoping to win things. Rather have people watch my stuff who like my stuff. Thanks, Bruno. I appreciate the biddies. Happy New Year to you and yours as well. It's a popular streaming minigame. Yeah. It's like I said, like, even at the end of this week, like, we're going to play like 40 decks over the course of this week. And when we finish, there's probably still going to be 30 plus decks in the deck queue. So again, just like spending time doing anything that's not that is just like not an appropriate use of my time as far as work is concerned. Our hand's pretty good against mono red to start here. We get to kill this Pyromancer. I'm going to kill the Pyromancer proactively here, so that way they don't have a wizard in play, so they can potentially deny them a discount on a Wizard's Lightning here. That's true. You can win timeouts here. There are always timeouts to be had. Alright, they found a Lightning Strike. So I guess with Lightning Strike being there, I'm going to go ahead and just play this Flamewake out. Rather than play this Bonecrusher Giant and just have it die. Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't think you're alone in that. I think a lot of people like the system that I have. So, it's tough. It's a tough sell to like think about, should I rock the boat? Because the boat's been doing pretty okay as is, so rocking it doesn't necessarily seem like a good idea. We go tapped land, Bonecrusher, attack for 2. Good chance this Bonecrusher just dies next turn. Yep, there's the Wizard's Lightning. So we're down to 14, we're down to 11. I think I just play Royal Scions here and just like start giving extra attack. Why waste time watching someone else? I'm so close to 1 million shillings. You'll love to hear it. Got them on a relatively quick clock here. We can Brazen Borrower, bounce their Lava Runner when it attacks us, and then replay Borrower, or play Borrower with their end step, and then we should be able to close this out nice and clean. I think the red matchup with this deck's pretty okay, especially with our Aether Gust and Magma Sprays post-board. Alright, I'm gonna cheat and look at what past Jeff said to do in the red aggro matchup. I'm pretty sure I included this in the sideboard guide. Red aggro. Aether Gust, Magma Spray, out, Kozilek's Return, and Royal Scions. Past Jeff did not want Stubborn Denial. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is Stub better than Glorybringer? Might be better than Flamewake Phoenix. Okay. Alright. I deviate from the Planet Touch. Sideboard guides from last year. Throw it away. I need a new one. The guide does have Nexus listed in it, which has since been eradicated from the format. Probably going to take the time to write a couple more Pioneer guides once the format settles down a little bit. I think I keep this. This hand's pretty good if we draw any red or blue source, right? Alright, we're up to almost 3 gigs of RAM. We'll restart the client after this match. It's getting a little slow. Sick. Just like we drew it up, chat. Nothing but net. I think I want to kill the Soulscar Mage. The Soulscar Mage is likely to deal 2 damage on subsequent turns, just because like they pretty likely to have instants and sorceries. I guess if their plan is light up the stage this turn, I potentially took one more. Well, they've got some tracks of land. Is this the old defensive Phoenix turn? I feel like this is a defensive Phoenix turn. One downside to killing the Soulscar Mage as opposed to the Pyromancer is that the Pyromancer is worse to bounce with Brazen Borrower. That's a good pickup. So I can charm one of these and then stomp the other, and then next turn we can deploy the Bonecrusher Giant with Stubborn Denial up. Be in a pretty okay spot. There are 4 cards left, but we're at 13. Like, I've got a pretty okay clock in play at that point. Like, I have Aether Gust to defend with, too. Sweet. Stubborn Denial's looking much better than the other Flamewake Phoenixes would be. Although this first Flamewake Phoenix looks good. I think the 2-2 split's probably fine. They're definitely flooding out a little bit. They've had 5 lands and 12 cards. At a minimum, they could have more lands in hand. Down to 11. I don't want to stub that Wild Slash, even though it would let me be mana efficient, because, like, there's a chance there that, like, they could untap in Frenzy, and Frenzy could take over the game. It's been sweet. Our first match against Blue-White Control was quite excellent. We got beat up by Soulflare, but that matchup's real bad, and I don't think there's anything we can do about it. This game is making me realize how truly busted it was to give Modern Bird lands that draw cards. Yep. And then go one step further and consider the fact that Modern Bird's not even good right now because of how busted the Oko Urza deck is. Alright, I'll stub that one since I have another stub up here. Borrower is very, very good. You're not wrong. Bomb, Pioneer, Bant Elementals. Will do, Frenzied Mage. Looking forward to getting back to that one, too. Oh, sweet. Last time we played it. How are we doing today, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. Hope everybody's enjoying. Welcome to the new decade, 2020. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic and other stuff full-time here on Twitch. We focus primarily on Magic's constructed formats. We play a ton of Pioneer here on Magic Online. We also play Standard and Historic on Magic Arena. As always, love to give a shout-out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day in, day out without their support, so thanks to all of them for keeping me employed. I'd also like to plug a couple of my wonderful sponsors here really quick. BCW Supplies, only ones I trust to protect my paper trading cards using code HOAGLANDIA at bcwsupplies.com. You can save 10% on sleeves, binders, deck boxes, and all sorts of other fantastic gaming accessories there with them. Cardsphere.com is the peer-to-peer trading network that would love to help you turn your cards into other cards or to other players. There's no haggling, and they just take 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of artwork that they already have on their website. And of course, the NRG Championship Series is a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. They focus primarily on Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. And you can find their streaming coverage every month as well at twitch.tv/NRG series.
Don't make your life garbage time. Join us in Hoaglandia today by subscribing to Jeff Hoagland with Twitch Prime today.
Alright, we're 2-2 in our league with this blue-red Eldrazi deck. Let's head on into the 5th and final match, see if we can win some of our dollars back. This thing's a little clunky, but Phoenix can enable 2 Deep-Fiends potentially. I'm gonna be pretty sad if we get, like, Thought Seized on one, but I think this is a keep. Okay, a 10-second chill on the Synapse Drink. I haven't tried it before. That's one of the F2K sponsors. They're supposed to be a caffeine-free, like, energy-style drink, but I don't actually understand how that works. They should have some details on their website, if I understand correctly. Womp womp. So the little ticker there in the corner that currently says quest mode, those are F2K sponsors, which are ones that the team picks up for us. I don't always have first-hand experience with the things that they're advertising. The ones on my ticker above chat are ones that I have first-hand experience with generally. Hey, thanks for the 12 months, Kanjo. I appreciate that. I have a sword to go with your shield. They just like not playing this thing back out. Well, I'm not going to play the Brazen Borrower then. I'm not going to give them a target for the removal spell. I'm shocking this in, so this way when they play Grim whatever next turn, I can Lightning Axe it and play Brazen Borrower. And if they don't do anything here again, they have to discard to hand size, so I'm going to accrue virtual card advantage. So, again, not playing my Borrower, discard to hand size, please. Hey, look, the Abrupt Decay that was going to kill my Brazen Borrower. So, we're flooding and our hand's a little bit awkward, but, like, they're stumbling. So every turn where they miss a land drop and move to hand size, like, we're accruing virtual card advantage. So, like, we're now up 2 cards just because they've elected not to do anything. Yeah, and honestly here, I'm just gonna keep passing until I'm in danger of moving to hand size. Like, if they're gonna keep missing, like, that's fine. As you will. Every turn, they die a little more. I'm gonna fetch with this passage, so I would like to thin that mountain out of my deck. Yeah, we're currently looking like a game where we're gonna cast Elder Deep-Fiend for 8. Those games happen. So again, for those keeping count, we're now up triple Abrupt Decay. We're now up Abrupt Decay 3x because I've been patient. Resolves. Okay, so now that they blinked, I'm gonna blink. We got 3 cards out of them. Here's my Brazen Borrower. Kill it. You know you want to. Oh, they Abrupt Decayed it. Oh, no. Hey, Hangman. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. All right, we're just going to bang this Grim Flare here. I have looked at some spoilers for the new set, not invested a ton of time in it though. Usually I like to wait until we're through more of the spoiler cycle to really work on things. Questerson, eh? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and axe this discarding. Do I want these Royal Scions? I feel like I probably don't. I think I'd rather have the axe than the Royal Scions. If I draw an untapped land next turn, I can Rekindling Phoenix and Deep-Fiend off of it. Alright, well, let's just do this for now then. She bangs, just a little bit, she moves, do, 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 do. Like, if they want to trade here, I'm okay with that. The downside to taking this trade is they could have a Liliana the Last Hope to kill the egg, but then Glorybringer bangs Liliana, and that's pretty okay for us. Because this gives them a target for Fatal Push. But, like, if they had Fatal Push, they probably would have discarded it before they discarded those Abrupt Decays, right? Sure. What other removal spell they could have here? We get to Izzet Charm. Yeah, I think these matchups are pretty good for the deck that we're playing. When these decks, before Oko was banned, Oko could sometimes give us a hard time out of these mid-range decks, but I think without Oko, we're pretty solidly ahead on average in a lot of these types of games. We have a lot of resilient threats. Hey, thanks for the 17 months, Corn Chips. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You have a questing beast, sure. How about if we put it back in your hand? Okay, so Chandra. Nope, yeah, this is blue and Eldrazi. This is one of my favorite decks in the format. Really like the range of play patterns that it tends to have. What are my cuts here? I probably want some Aether Gust. They have Grimflayer and they have Questing Beast. Probably have Tireless Tracker too. And then what do I want to get rid of? Lightning Axe seems great for killing a lot of their big threats and gaining some tempo. This is an Izzet Charm out matchup. Izzet Charm was like previously good because you were countering Okos with it, but like with Oko out of the picture, I feel like that card's less good. It kills Grimflayer or Tireless Tracker for a very small window. I need a name, seriously. Thank you for the quarter viewer support. Welcome back. Hope your 2020 is kicking off well. I wonder if Royal Scions is not ideal here. Just because, like, Questing Beast is okay against it. And, like, I just have a hard time defending it sometimes. I think Chandra's fine to bring in, even though I'm cutting her, just because Chandra kills Questing Beast and Chandra kills Kalitas, which can give us fits out of the opponent's archetype sometimes. Maybe I don't want all three Aether Gust. This is relatively clean. One of the things you'll notice I do a lot with this deck, and by a lot I mean all the time, is I take these adventure creatures and I drag them down to my 2 slot because this helps me visualize my curve better when sideboarding. So the adventure creatures are 2 mana spells and 3 mana spells. So I like to visualize them in the 2 slot to give me an idea of how many things I have to do early. Akari Death, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Let's run it. Scions. Scions is what I often refer to as a replacement level card. It's a card that, like, isn't absurd in any matchup. So, like, game 1, it's good at just, like, being filler and fixing your wrong half problem, but you frequently board it out. I think the do-nothing control matchups are, like, one of the few where you leave that card in. And that's fine. Like, just because you frequently board a card out doesn't mean that card is bad. There are definitely cards similar to that where, like, they're just better game 1 and you're replacing them with better, more specific cards for the matchups in the post-board games. These are my cards. So, this hand sucks against Thoughtseize, but the reason why Thoughtseize sucks as a Magic card is because you don't make your hand better against Thoughtseize by mulliganing. So, like, this hand's bad against Thoughtseize, but a 6-card hand getting Thoughtseized also bad. So, in general, in these matchups, against Thoughtseize decks, you're supposed to just keep anything that's close to functional and just hope you have good spells on top of your deck. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize, in my opinion, in cards like this are really bad game design because they remove one of the fundamental parts of the game that you generally get rewarded for as a good player, which they take away rewarding you for mulliganing well. Need Mental Misstep. Get out of here. Corsair Crew Fix is a good one. Gains them some life, generates some card advantage. K-Return alongside Deep-Fiend is sweet here. Hopefully they play a Tireless Tracker this turn and we get to clear it with K-Return. I think it's likely, Lord Aaron. I would be really surprised if they let the Ballista combo exist in this format after they very quickly banned Felidar combo. Yay, Magic. The flip side of that coin is if they don't ban Walking Ballista, the card is going to be absurdly expensive. So, like most things in Magic, it's a huge gamble. So, like, if you keep it and they don't ban it, it's going to be worth a ton. If you keep it and they do ban it, it's going to be worth like next to nothing like it was before. That's a magic card. That's a magic card. Alright, so I feel like I'm supposed to just do this and pass since I drew Dig Through Time, because I don't really want to like play my banger out here and get my banger like Murderous Ridered. I want to kill a creature with this Glorybringer. So the Fabled Passage means I can cast Dig Through Time this turn, which is good. So in response to this trigger, do I K-return to kill the tracker? That's probably the correct play. And then I don't think I play around Trophy. So I think I Glorybringer attack here. And try and exert on this this Courser. If they have a trophy here, this could be make or break. They don't have trophy. Okay, so we get to play a game. They have Davriel or whatever the Rack Planeswalker is called, plus they're drawing a Nissa next turn. I think questions like that are kind of pointless, Momoka. Like, random theory questions like that don't help me improve as a player. So, I don't like to waste effort on them. They're cute in a thought experiment sort of way, but like, from a, hey, is this useful? Generally not. Just make something attack me for 5? Yep. Smacking us down to 4 here. Still have enough mana to dig through time. This is gonna crack us down to 4. Is there a 2-mana spell we'd want to play here? I don't think so. So I do have a second dig in my deck, so I'm gonna leave the K-return in my bin too, because K-return's potentially useful as well. So I'm just gonna tap out for this. Is it EDF Chandra? It's definitely EDF. The question is, do I want this other dig or do I want this Chandra? Hey, Elwins, Happy New Year to you too. It could just be dig. I think it's dig. Just gonna die it into turn here. Nothing but net. Alright, so what am I doing here? I think it's just casting Deep-Fiend. That's why I played the last land out, right? Has to be Deep-Fiend. Otherwise I die. To the Nissa. You thought Chandra, because you could do both here. I can't Chandra and Deep-Fiend, no. Because my dragon's dying. It's a shame I can't use Mutavault to kill this Davriel. I mean, like, I didn't know the dragon was dying either, but, like, taking that card, assuming my dragon's gonna live, seems ambitious. No, that's not how that works. Wait. Not even a little. It's not how that works. Mutavault has a converted mana cost of 0. You can emerge off a creature land, but it takes a mana to activate this, and then it would take another mana to activate it on my opponent's turn. So I don't have enough mana to do all that. Hopefully they just, like, play this out, play out Murderous Rider. So we were talking about Magic lore earlier. Do you think it's okay for Elder Deep-Fiend to tap Nissa here? Or would WotC be upset because Elder Deep-Fiend is tapping both Davriel and Nissa? And it's not okay to go both ways. Elder Deep-Fiend doesn't discriminate. It's squiddly arms love everybody. Okay, so now a real question is, this Davriel trigger only deals 2 to us if we have 1 or fewer cards in our hand. So I could dig in response to this trigger, so I don't go to 2. Should I avoid going to 2? I feel like I should avoid going to 2. So I think in response to this trigger, this is an intervening if clause. So that means it checks upon resolution as well as when it goes on the stack. So if I should play her on the second Davriel. So if I dig in response, they then can't, oh gosh. Man, those are some choices. Alright, so the second squid is definitely in. Is it just Lightning Axe? They have a Tireless Tracker on top of their deck, so I probably want this Lightning Axe, right? Well, I have a Mutavault to kill both walkers, so the walkers are dead. K-Return could have more returns than the Lightning Axe, that's true. Swings Castle Wider Net. The Phoenix is good with the Deep-Fiend, though. And they are at 13, right? So, like, Phoenix plus Deep-Fiend just, like, kills them very quickly. It might just be the Phoenix. I don't really care about the card advantage from the tracker, right? We're just like in the pivot part of the game. It's a good hit too. So this line of play does leave me dead. Not taking the axe leaves me dead to another Nissa. Something worth noting here. So if they have a second Nissa Vital Force, I am dead. So maybe I should take axe to play around that. Because I am pretty far ahead at the moment. Borrower doesn't bounce lands. Not dead to that one. Oh, I wouldn't be dead because I could emerge off of Deep-Fiend. Yeah, that's super true. Hey, opponent, pick your stuff up. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we're not dead to that. Sick. I knew I was a wizard. Hey, Furious Squirrel, thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It's technically strictly optimal to play this Phoenix post-combat. Yeah, whatever. Calm yourself down. I'm not tapping their lands during their upkeep. I'm tapping their creatures that enter combat. Just for people wondering what the sequencing is with the Deep-Fiends here. Wanna take their attackers / blockers out of the way here. Yeah, my white trigger abilities. The dig through times are so good in these grindy games. The pair of digs in the board are great. I saw some other people when they were working on this deck cut the digs, and I'm like, you don't understand why this card's good. So they're dead a couple different ways here. We've got double Deep-Fiend, we've got double Mutavault, we've got a Phoenix threatening to come back. You got it. Phoenix ain't coming back. So even if they have a blocker post-combat or another removal spell, they're still dead. This deck is just so incredibly satisfying to play. It's got some matchups like Soul Flare that are just like kind of bad and there's not much you can do about it, but the matches where this deck has played to it are just so incredibly satisfying. Just like the number of lines that you have and decisions you get to make is just so fun. I don't think this deck's the most competitive deck in the format, but I think it's reasonable enough against enough things that if you really like it, it's a treat. I don't know. I think we went 3-2. I don't know. The record doesn't matter. All right. Anywho, yeah, I don't have any changes to make here. I think if you're expecting to play against Lotus Field, I would put some Alpine Moons or some Damping Spheres in the sideboard. But I'm not going to update the list on my website until the Lotus Field deck survives the banning. Oh, that's true, Tumos. There you go. If you know you're going to play against Soul Flare with this deck, play some Hour of Devastation. I forgot about that one. That's a great choice. I don't think I would play Hour of Devastation generically. I don't think Soul Flare is a popular enough deck to, like, have that card against. But, like, if, like, you love this deck and you know there's a couple locals that, like, have Soul Flare, that's a card that's really good against them. You can play 2 to 3 copies of that. It kills indestructible things. As an A+ suggestion. And that's the joy of these non-rotating formats with deep card pools, right? Like, even if my generic setup for like a diverse field isn't ideal for your local metagame, you can tune and tweak and adjust and make small changes to like still play the core of this deck because the core is really sweet, but give yourself better chances in the post-board games. Yeah, another part of why I'm not really in on that deck you sent me, Jedi, is just like, I think it's kind of a worse version of this too. It's doing similar things, but like, like the blue feels real forced, the Dark Dwellers feel awkward. All right, anywho, we've got a Temur Collected Company deck coming up next that I still got to import. and get loaded up because it wasn't cut the line. I'm gonna hit a quick ad roll while we get set up for that. We got one more Pioneer League, and then we're gonna roll on into some Standard for the rest of the afternoon. So if you're a fan of Pioneer, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.